Move Orion's belt 2 inches to the left, Grandpa. I called out, so serious about it all. In the darkness, those plastic stars still glowed, faint but persistent. Like memories that refuse to fade, even when everything else changes. It's been 6 years since that day. 6 years since the front door slammed behind my parents and sister. Their angry footsteps echoing off the porch, like the last remnants of a storm finally blowing out to sea. I haven't spoken to them since. Sometimes their names pop up on my phone, unknown numbers, recycled emails, friend requests through fake accounts, but I delete them all without opening. I don't need to hear their apologies, not when they're only born of absence. They made their choice. And so did I. The lab Grandpa left me, my lab, grew from a private research space into something real, something that mattered. We named it the Walter Dawson Innovation Center, and we didn't just keep his name alive. We honored his faith. We specialize in sustainable agricultural technologies, micro-irrigation systems, adaptive crop genetics, eco-friendly pest management. Things that once lived in the margins of science fairs, now, make their way into struggling farms across the state. Last month, I stood on a stage in San Francisco accepting a national grant for innovation in climate resilience. I wore a navy blue suit and my mother's silence like armor. The crowd clapped. The spotlight didn't blind me. I looked into it and didn't flinch. And beside the stage, framed under the foundation's logo, was a photo of Walter Dawson, smiling in front of a field of sunflowers. The caption read, "For the dreamers who invest in those the world overlooks." Somewhere I think you saw it. The path wasn't always easy. There were nights I doubted everything, myself, my abilities, whether I could really build something from scratch without falling apart. There were failed experiments, grant applications rejected, moments when the weight of Grandpa's expectations felt too heavy to carry. But each time I faltered, I remembered his words, write the things they don't understand. One day the world will. And slowly, the center grew. First, it was just me and 2 graduate students working out of what was essentially a converted barn with state-of-the-art equipment that seemed almost comically out of place among the wooden beams. Now, we have a staff of 27 researchers, 4 departments, partnerships with 3 universities, and field sites in 12 counties across Texas. Tara and Micah, my closest friends since university, now lead departments within the center. We laugh a lot. We still mess up experiments. Still burn popcorn in the break room, microwave. But we also change lives. Not because we're smarter, but because someone believed we could. Last spring, we hosted our first youth science camp. 15 kids from rural communities, each with that same look I once had, hungry for knowledge, desperate to be seen. One girl, barely 13, with thick glasses and a quiet voice, showed me her notebook filled with observations about native bee populations in her hometown. Her calculations were rough but intuitive, her questions brilliant in their simplicity. When I told her this, she looked at me with such surprise that I had to turn away to hide my tears. "You actually read it," she said, as if that was the most extraordinary thing I could have done. I knew then that Grandpa's legacy wasn't just about the research or the facility, it was about breaking cycles, about seeing potential where others saw inconvenience. We've expanded the youth program to reach over 150 students annually.